Hello and welcome to City Talk. I'm Phyllis Jackson. So glad you could join us. Well, many kids living in the city rarely get a taste of the country life. That's where Camp Best Friends comes in. Sam Crenshaw shows us how the city of Atlanta is opening up a whole new world to campers.
This is how the day starts for these summer campers. It's what you find at many camps this time of year. It's what happens next that makes it a magical experience for children from the City of Atlanta's Centers of Hope. Welcome to Camp Best Friends.
Lots of our kids don't get this experience living in an urban city, and so we wanted to make sure that we really have a unique place here at Lake Allatoona where they can learn how to kayak, they can get out in the lake, they can learn about fishing, how to make a fire, and really just enjoy being outside and in an overnight experience.
The City of Atlanta dedicated the funds to renovate the campgrounds located on the shores of Lake Allatoona. For campers, it's like spending a week in another world.
I really love the water, and since I live in the city where it's really loud, there's a lot of trucks and there's a lot of cars. I just think it's really therapeutic out here. It's nice and quiet, and when you hear nature at night, it's just beautiful.
When do you ever get to swim in lakes and stuff? And you get go hiking, and it's just really fun.
I want to find a skull.
Mayor Kasim Reed was once a camp counselor at Camp Best Friends. This is Lena Whitfield's third summer here. She enjoys being with the children and the different challenge that an overnight camp can bring.
It doesn't stop like Centers, 6 o'clock, the kids are going home, and no, it's no such thing as a shift. Kids getting in trouble at 11 o'clock, you need to wake up and go see about it. So I would say be prepared, be flexible, and be just open to doing things that you're like getting out of your box, stepping out of your box.
14 would be a long life in the forest.
Of course, seeing nature up close makes things interesting. You never know what's around the next turn.
I seen snakes, raccoons, deers, squirrels, basically, and birds.
When we went hiking, I saw a snake. I got freaked out, but then I realized that they don't hurt you if you don't do anything to them. And I just now I like nature. I'm used to the bugs, I'm used to the fish, I'm used to the lake, I'm used to the cabin smelling, but but I'm used to all of it and I like it.
Call it a big breath of fresh air. Kids from the inner city come here to Lake Allatoona, get a chance to get in touch with nature, see animals in their natural habitat, get a chance to spend some time out here on the water, kayaking or swimming in the lake. And also they say the food is good, but perhaps the best part, the very best part of Camp Best Friends are the friendships. Some friendships made here will last a lifetime.
The first week of camp, there was a young lady who was really homesick. And I remember talking to her, and I'm like, if you need help making friends, I'm real bubbly, I can help you, Because she was crying. I was like, you need to call your mom. Her mom kind of pep talked her up, And then the next week, I didn't hear anything else from her. She was with her friends. She was in the talent show. She was doing everything. So I was like, okay, Tristan, you got it. Okay, I don't have to worry about you anymore. So I think seeing those things, I'm like, okay, we're really doing what we came here to do.
Brothers and sisters, one day the city's just not good enough. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
At Camp Best Friends on Lake Allatoona, Sam Crenshaw reporting for City Channel 26.
Atlanta City Council member Cleta Winslow wants citizens to know about programs that encourage home ownership. She recently provided a free bus tour that included a stop for a special Invest Atlanta home buying seminar. Attendees learned about available homes for sale in the West End, along with incentive programs that provide the funding for the down payment.
People can qualify up to $10,000 in down payment assistance money. Now that's a minimum. Actually, a person in a 3-family household can make up to $80,000. A year, okay, and they can still qualify.
The Atlanta Affordable Home Ownership Program is one of several available to would-be homeowners. Councilmember Winslow says the programs are open to all who are interested in moving to Atlanta. A massive grant program opens the door to youth sports on Atlanta's west side.
There you go!
Over 300 kids gathered in Atlanta's Washington Park as national nonprofit Laureus Sport for Good and Mercedes-Benz announced a sports initiative that will pump $3 million into 14 after-school programs in the English Avenue, Vine City, and Washington Park areas. A $1 million initial investment marked the first phase of the plan.
The Laureus Foundation Sport for Good kickoff right here in Atlanta City Council District 3 at historic Washington Park. This is a great day, you know, and all the partners, too many to mention, but Edwin Moses was here. Jesus. I mean, so many people who have made it their commitment that we make an impact on the youth of the West Side in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm, as Atlanta City Council Member District 3, Ivory Leung Jr. is really happy.
The funding is also supported by the National Recreation Foundation. Laureus USA is a global network that has impacted over 1 million youth in 35 countries. According to the Centers for Disease Control, car seat usage reduces the risk of death to infants by 71%. For toddlers, the risk is reduced by 54%. But those numbers could be impacted dramatically if children are not secured properly. In fact, 4 out of 5 child safety seats are used incorrectly. That concern was the focus of a recent car seat safety checkup and health screening. Atlanta City Council member Michael Bond hosted the event, which brought in officials with the Georgia State Patrol, the Atlanta Fire Department, and the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
We're checking these car seats to make sure they're installed properly and to make sure they're not expired. Most people don't know that their child car seat can actually expire, which can affect its effectiveness in protecting your child.
Very, very few that are installed correctly. There are very few. There's a lot that goes into it. The harness straps, the thing that actually keeps the child in there, they have a certain way that they have to be on the child according to the weight and the age of the child. And also the way they install the seat in the car.
Families were also provided with food boxes thanks to a partnership between Action Ministries and Feeding Atlanta.
It's an amazing assortment of canned fruits, vegetables, there's fresh produce, there's some meats, and there's a number of breads and wonderful pastas that are in these food boxes.
This year's event also provided screenings for diabetes and high blood pressure. Atlanta City Council member Natalie Archibong is excited about new affordable senior housing in her district. Mercy Housing held a ribbon cutting to celebrate its latest addition to the Reynoldstown community.
It's a great neighborhood and just minutes away from the Beltline, so there'll be healthy amenities nearby. It's centrally located, and so this is just an affirmation of living in Atlanta and aging in place.
Coming up next, Grady High School gears up for a new football season. We'll speak with Councilmember Joyce Shepard. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Officer Sajak with the Atlanta Police Department. Do you ever block the box? No, I'm not talking about blocking the TV. I'm talking about that urge to drive through an intersection even though you can see you won't be able to make it through before the light turns red. It's called blocking the box, and it's illegal in the state of Georgia. When you block the box, you not only prevent vehicles from moving in other directions, but you also affect pedestrians from walking safely in crosswalks. You don't want to be that person, so please don't block the box. If you do, you may be subject to fines up to $500 as well as points on your driving record. You don't want that. Blocking the box affects not only the traffic patterns and safety of pedestrians, but also bicyclists and emergency vehicles. So remember, don't block the box. The City of Atlanta is counting on you to do your part in keeping the traffic moving.
Who does that kind of thing? You pull in front of me?
Daddy, we don't say words like that.
Just let your love flow like a mountain.
Good examples. Pass them on.
With the smallest of dreams and let your love show. And you'll know what I mean.
One Atlanta nonprofit is cleaning up thanks to a sizable grant from the Environmental Protection Agency. I took a short trip to Life Cycle Building Center in Atlanta recently to find out what this new funding will mean for an organization dedicated to helping the environment. Atlanta's Life Cycle Building Center is getting some help from the Environmental Protection Agency. We first introduced you to Life Cycle last year. It's a unique nonprofit focused on keeping it green by reducing waste. The organization houses donated usable building material and sells it to consumers. Doors, windows, flooring, and kitchen cabinets can be found here for a fraction of the retail cost.
One man's trash is another man's treasure. You might as well be able to use it again.
I've told a few people. I kind of try not to, though. Yeah. Just because the stuff that I need that I know is here, I don't want it to be gone when I get back, you know.
It's a lower price for the buyer, additional funding for Life Cycle, and one less trip to the landfill.
Good morning, Life Cycle Building Center. Kareem speaking. May I help you?
The organization also donates free materials to schools, nonprofits, and houses of faith, providing the community with savings of over $1.3 million. Life Cycle now finds itself on the receiving end. It's one of 5 Metro Atlanta recipients of an EPA Brownfields Program cleanup grant. A brownfield is property whereby the expansion or redevelopment or reuse could be challenged due to the presence of a hazardous substance, a pollutant, or contaminants. Shannon Goodman is Life Cycle's executive director.
The EPA cleanup grant is a $200,000 grant. We'll be using it a little bit for some soil removal outside as well as asbestos removal.
This 70,000 square foot building sits on about 3.5 acres of land. The workers have already managed to place a dent in some of the work by remediating lead paint from the first level. However, this EPA grant is going to go a long way towards completing that cleanup. The executive director tells me it's all part of a major vision.
We have a front space in the older portion of our facility that we don't use at all because it's got some floor tile materials, it's got some wallboard that has asbestos in it. So those materials need to be taken out so that we can then remove everything else and begin to actually do a build out of that space.
There's a capital campaign feasibility study, which will be complete in the fall. It will provide officials with a time frame for fundraising. They hope to begin construction in late 2018 or 2019. Big changes for the facility means a greater shopping experience for those who support LBC.
This is a wall cabinet that came out of someone's house or office. It's natural wood.
Supporters like Atlanta City Council member Joyce Shepard, who frequents the nonprofit situated in her district, not only to shop, but also to assist Life Cycle officials with advice and guidance.
Joyce has been, personally engaged with LBC for a long time. She's been a customer for years. She's directly supported the organization personally. She is regularly bringing people here, connecting us, helping us build relationships.
So when you did phase 1, it wasn't as bad as you thought.
There was only a little bit of soil out on the north side. All of the glazing in all of the windows.
When you want to take an old building and reuse it, you have to purge it and cleanse it. So we actually are working with them to purge and cleanse this building and to get it up to par so that when we finish, we'll have a beautiful renovated building that will be recycling, sustainability, the whole 9 yards, and also giving back to the community.
Joining me now, one of the stars of the show from that great story, Atlanta City Council member Joyce Shepard from District 12. Thank you so much for being with us today.
I'm excited to be here.
We're glad to have you here. And, for this first full episode of City Talk Border, we have a lot to talk about today. And starting with this Brownfield program, which is a great program, talk to me about the work that was involved in securing this funding for Life Cycle Building Center.
Well, Life Cycle is actually an industrial part of my district that has actually been just sitting there for years with nothing happening. This building that they're in is absolutely gorgeous. It's an old historical building. It was a factory that did many different things. But the fact that it was brownfield was an issue. They want to buy this building, or in the process of buying this building, but before they could even think about buying the building, they had to look at the phase 1, phase 2 in terms of brownfield. And when they did that, they found contamination. So we at the city supported them all the way because what they're doing is sustainability. And so we were excited about that. So we began to work with them, Invest Atlanta, the mayor's office, everyone, to figure out how we could support and help them. And also the fact that it's really very close to the Beltline. So we wanted this to be something that we really supported. So we went after this brownfield grant for them. And through this brownfield grant, they were awarded $200,000.
Well, let's move on and talk a little bit about some other great things happening in your district, something you've been fighting for quite a while, and it's a big win for you. It's about all-terrain vehicles, and we've got some new changes that are going to make the penalties a little bit stiffer. Let's go over those penalties once again, if you would, with us, Councilmember Shepherd, and then let's talk about the enforcement aspect of this new legislation.
So I just actually passed legislation a month ago that says no ATVs on the streets of the city of Atlanta, period. The law says that if you're caught with an ATV on the streets of Atlanta, the first fine will be $750. The second fine, if you're caught again, would be $1,000. And the third fine would be minimum of 30, up to 6 months in jail. So that's to send a message to folks out here with the ATVs in terms of the fact that we're very serious as the city of Atlanta. This has become a major problem across the city, and not only that, in other parts of the country also.
What would you say, though, if I could play devil's advocate for a second? You know, what about those who say, hey, listen, Councilmember Shepherd, we're just having fun. What's the problem? What's the big deal? You know, why can't we do this? What would you say to them?
All-terrain vehicles was never meant to be on paved streets in urban city environment. They're actually called dirt bikes for a reason. And so the fact that you have folks driving them throughout our streets, up and down the city of Atlanta, all over the place, think about this. The fact that you're driving your car every day, when you get up and you go drive your car, you actually have laws that says, I got to stop at a red light, I can't speed, I can't do wheelies in the street, I have to obey the laws. I have registration, I have license. We create all these laws to protect our citizens. If all-terrain vehicles are driving around our streets in gangs, doing wheelies, disregard for speed or anything else, that's unsafe. And for somebody to say it's just fun, can other folks who are driving have fun like that? They are out of control. So that's why we're saying no to that. So I don't want people to be misled by the fact that they're saying that police officers can't do anything about the ATVs. They can't catch them. They are catching them. 4th of July weekend, we caught 9 different vehicles, ATVs. And when we stopped them, they actually were speeding. Unfortunately, some of the ATVs were stolen. We found guns on some of the folks with the ATVs and drugs. So the police departments are saying, absolutely, we support you, council member. Thank you so much.
Well, I think that's pretty clear, and congratulations to you on getting that legislation passed. It was really, really good for the folks who want to see some changes, especially in their neighborhoods, who are frightened, you know, by what's been happening. So hopefully we'll see some massive change there. Let's move on and talk a little bit about something that's near and dear to your heart. You know, the community development block grants. I know that there are a couple of, many of them, but especially 2 nonprofits that are especially close to your heart. Talk a little bit about them and how they're going to benefit from these grants.
Yeah, the fact that the community development block grants are federal funding that we get every year as a city, and that it helps us tremendously in terms of so many situations in the city and across the country. One of them, in terms of this federal funding, that goes a lot to homelessness and to social services, to our seniors, a lot of different things. But in my district, I have 2, or actually 3, several of them, but I'll just name 2. One of them is a women's organization, a Christian organization called GIGAL. It's a nonprofit that takes women who have drug addictions or problems on the street. They actually turn them around in about a year transition. So it's a transitional house for homeless women homeless. The other one is the Atlanta Urban League. Executive Director is Nancy Flakes Johnson. I don't know if y'all know her, but she does an awesome job across the city.
It's just huge and great for wonderful nonprofits who are serving the community so beautifully.
I'm very proud of that, and that's what we do as a city. You know, we talk about how we can do things that will augment how our citizens in our community and help folks and lift them up.
Well, I know there are lots of folks in your district, but also outside of it, who feel that way about you and the great things that you're doing for District 12. We certainly appreciate you being with us today. Councilmember Shepherd, thank you. We look forward to seeing you real soon.
All right, thank you.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
It used to be easy to tell the good guys from the bad guys, but now it's a different world. So if you are ever uncertain or intimidated about filing a complaint against Atlanta police officers or correction officers, remember, you can now file anonymous complaints with the Atlanta Citizen Review Board. Nobody needs to know. Contact ACRB at 404-865-8622 or go online at acrbgov.org.
One Atlanta high school is upgrading their football field ahead of another school year right around the corner. Sam Crenshaw shows us the special technique used to install this new turf.
High school football season is weeks away, but activity abounds at Atlanta's Grady Stadium. Brand new field turf will give the Atlanta Public School facility a new look this fall.
We took up the old surface and we're putting down another field turf, Revolution surface, comparable to the one that we have at Lakewood and our other high schools that we've been doing. So we started about 2.5 weeks ago, and we anticipate finishing up around the end of July, just in time for football season.
It was 2 years ago that a similar upgrade took place at Lakewood Stadium. Now it's Grady's turn.
Grady Stadium and Lakewood Stadium, they play host to 10 high schools for high school football. So we want to make sure that we're ready for game one, actually for practice, because this is, right now as it stands, this is Grady High School's practice site.
The result will be a state-of-the-art playing surface on Friday nights, but the process is seldom seen. The yard lines, hash marks, and colored markings for a variety of sports are sewn in by hand.
This process is very tedious, as you can see. They have to go through and sew in pretty much every lacrosse line, every soccer line, as well as the numbers. So it's a very tedious process. And if you didn't know a lot about it, you know, for me, I come out here and I'm learning something new pretty much each and every day, as I did when they were doing the Lakewood project.
New turf for a facility located adjacent to Piedmont Park with a spectacular view of the Midtown skyscrapers. Grady Stadium is an in-town jewel that serves many purposes.
People want to come here and have combines, shoot movies, have all-star games because of just what you said. At night, the backdrop is beautiful, it's breathtaking. We have a few challenges with parking, but people don't even worry about that because they want to be in downtown Atlanta, right here in Midtown, and they love the view.
So it will be a new playing surface just in time for the new season. The Grady Gray Knights kick off the 2017 football season against North Atlanta on August 18th.
We're excited. You know, we're counting down, we're ready to go. We're putting the last minute touches on equipment orders, uniform orders, purchases, etc. And we want to make sure that this field is ready to roll out on day one as well.
In Midtown, Sam Crenshaw reporting for City Channel 26.
Coming up on our next edition of City Talk.
Here again, you can see where utilities have been marked, yellow for gas, blue for water. Find out what's been going on here.
Atlanta City Council member Howard Shook takes it outside. He's walking the streets of District 7, compiling his own Fix-It list. We'll join him in North Buckhead. That's on our next edition of City Talk. Until then, I'm Phyllis Jackson. Thanks for spending some time with us.